This is Rainbow in the Dark on normal and hard. So this quest has a few unique challenges to it that don't exist in other quests. The first is that the story arc has this, or the story has this raiding arc as part of the story. So this is a light, a flashlight effectively. So I'm going to equip this weapon in my hotbar. And when I don't have this weapon, it's dark. And it's not, it's not too bad here. You can see some crystals. And when I have it, it kind of like lights up a little bit so you can see the way. So, as I go forward, you can see it just gets darker and darker. Here's some bats. Fortunately, you can see enemies here, so you can swap weapons back and forth as needed. The other challenge with this quest is that, there's a few parts with rust monsters, and the rust monsters in here are especially brutal in the sense that they seem anyways to do more damage to weapons and items than other rust monsters. Like we've fought rust monsters and we've never, had a weapon and oozes, other than in slave lords when the gear was, level 4, a piece of level 4 gear wore out. It's never happened, right, where it's worn out. But in here, it's pretty much sure to wear out if I don't take precautions. And so there's 3 paths that have rust monsters. One is optional, so I'm going to skip that entirely, that optional section. And then the other 2, when we jump down, that's the first section that could have them. It may have them, it may not have them. And the second section always has them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump down first, see what I have to deal with here. And so we'll know quickly if we either get the rust monsters or we don't get any at all. So if we get rust monsters, there's a lot of them, and there's more of them here than there is in the other part. So we're just going to try to peek ahead. Okay, so we have the rust monsters, and it's called a fierce rust monster. So we are going to try to bow it as best we can until they get close. Can't, but they're fierce because they do a lot of damage. You can see my armor is worn, right? And so I'm going to I need my deathblock armor. So I'm going to switch to this other armor. Temporary, let me change this. I'm going to switch to this other armor, which I equipped specifically for this quest, so that I had a backup option against rust monsters. And just taking a quick look at my gear, right? And this is only normal, right? So I've got nothing really worn too bad, but my armor, right? So, but they will wear out all your gear. So I'm going to just take a quick look, and I'm going to try to, as we get further ahead in this cave, I have further and further run backwards. So I'm not going to charge because that might get a rust monster. I'm going to let this thing come back to me. And we're going to go ahead. All right, another ferocious rust monster. So I'm going to try to get this guy back by himself before we get the rust monster. All right. And now I'm going to try to bow this guy. Oop. There we go. I got him. The other, we got a little more room to run backwards here. But, it's hard running backwards in the dark. So a little bit of a challenge, and these things will like absolutely wear your armor out. It's just it's really bad. So all right. Again, you don't want to charge these guys because you don't want to get the rust monsters. You want to get them by yourself and bow them if you can. And of course, it's dark, so it's like you're running backwards and you're gonna, you might hit a wall or something. All right, there's another ferocious rust monster. Whoop. Earth elemental. Let's see if we get him by himself. Nope, here they come. So let's get backwards. Easy to run backwards. I'm going to focus on the rust monster first. Oh, there's another one. So you don't want to wear your sword out, so. Alright. Alright, so get the flashlight on. Let's hope What's my sword look like here? Not too bad. You can see that's just from one hit on the rust monster. One hit. So it's this is the big challenge of this quest is they put rust monsters in that are worse than other rust monsters, and they're always bad. So we have one more cave to do, and the other cave is not as bad as this cave because there's a little, you could back up into a lighted area, a partially lighted area, so it's not quite as bad as this part. This is the worst part, and the good news is that you won't always get rust monsters here. Sometimes it's only the earth elementals. But I got the rust monsters, and it's good to show you anyways, because I'm gonna put my death block here back on. My Warren, I mean 73 should be enough to get through the rest of the quest, but that's just from like a couple rust monster hits. All right, and we have a beholder coming up. Let me get the flashlight out. So you can kind of peek around this corner. You could probably bow him. He's going to dispel everything we got. There we go. And then this area as well as other areas could be a collapsible floor. You can see even with the light, it's a little hard to see. So you want to move slowly past this area. And then this area could have a pressure, not a pressure plate, but it's a sort of like a pressure plate. And so if it's there, and you don't have to worry about rust monsters here until we get to the next section with the rust monsters, which is quite a ways. It could have a thing, if you step on it, it's a trap and it summons a bunch of elementals. There's a few that could be in here that even if you don't step on it, like it's whatever, you won't see it, you'll just activate it when you walk by it. So we might still have that issue. Alright, and then a couple of, I usually go here and clear. So this is actually the way we're going to go later in the quest. So I went right, but we get to this dead end where we need crest, and then I go left. It's just a habit I have of doing that. You don't have to do it that way. You could go left, but again, you want your light. You want to be able to see what's ahead of you, and watch the floor for traps that spawn elementals. And we should also see trap boxes for some of those. So some of them are trap boxes, and some of those are things on the floor that you step on. So we picked up the crest, and that crest is needed to get through the other door. And so now we just go back the way we came. And there will be respawns here. And we didn't hit any pits with the floor collapse, so we won't have to worry about that. But we will have to worry about respawns, like right there. And there is a sort of an optional path up ahead that I did not mention. It's dark, so it's not really easy to see, but you can see it on the map. And again, anytime you see this, it could be a not collapsible floor. That's the wrong word. It's already open, so it's like a trap. It's like an open floor, so you have to make sure you don't walk over the open parts. The open parts are trapped. So I'll show you when we get there, because there'll surely be a couple in this quest. All right, another gelatinous cube. So that direction is an optional. You can kind of see on the map. I'm not going to go that way, but again, it's kind of fun to explore the whole dungeon, and so you might want to do that at some point. Get the flashlight on. So yeah, and initially all these stone scorpions didn't activate, but they activate on the way back. So now we use that crest. Alright, so let me get the flashlight on, see if I can see what's ahead. There's sometimes one or more gelatinous cubes in this area. Sometimes there's one. Watch for traps here. So there's a trap. So let's draw them back. Alright, so I'm going to do this. Let me get this gelatinous cube first. Alright, well I guess not. Let's see. I can't target it yet. Let me try. There we go. Draw it back for sure. Definitely don't go forward until we get the trap taken care of. Alright, so I'm going to look for this trap. Let me get my search item on. I found it without. This type of trap is the other type of thing that if you don't deactivate it and you step here, you might get transported to a area where you have to fight fire elementals. Not hard, just throw on fire resist and you'll be fine. And this shrine you could use. You could also save it because there is a place where we sort of fork off. So we're not too far. We can finish that area first. Like, there's no need to shrine now, so I'm not going to shrine. Alright, so this is the second area we can get rust monsters. And I believe, I'm not 100% positive, but I believe the rust monsters are always here. It could be that I just get them a lot, and it's like the other area, and might be only earth elementals. But I believe that this could be a combination of rust monsters as well. We'll find out. But this is the second area where you might get some rust monsters. And it's looking like I'm wrong, so it's looking like this might be just earth elementals, which is great.
Carefully carved tunnel leads to a septic.
But this area can have rust monsters as well. And in general, I'd rather have them here than the other spot because it's easier to run backwards here and hit them with a bow. And on hard, it's gonna, on hard and then elite, it's gonna be that much tougher to get them down. All right. Okay. So now we're past this part. We'll have a kind of a knoll village area. And let me get my flashlight on. And we want to go this way towards the west to get another crest.
A group of windlasher gnolls have settled in this area beneath the veil.
All right, watch this. There's another floor that could be not fully complete. And again, it's a little bit hard to see if you're going fast, so you want to kind of go slow when you get to those areas. So far, we've been lucky. We haven't had any of those. And it could be it scales differently on normal, than Elite Reaper. Not entirely sure. Alright, so now we reach the second area, and gnolls. Alright, so we want this key. I think I said crest, but it's actually a key to open a door. Alright, one more hyena. And you can see this sort of way north is the optional way. There are rust monsters there, and there's a beholder. I'm going to skip it. It's just basically a chest, and of course, if someone's going for monster manual credit, they might be interested in going there to get the name beholder for monster manual credit. But I'm going to skip it. All right. Okay, so let me get got my flashlight on. I'm gonna look for traps real quick. All right, and I'm gonna jump onto this. Whoop, missed it. Luckily with evasion, it's not a big deal if you miss it. But it looks like a little darker than usual for me. I could barely see it. Let me check if I mess with my graphics. Nope. All right, well, I'm gonna, all right, do this, and I'm gonna get a little closer. Gotta kind of inch it real close. You have to get there just right. It almost looks like you're off the edge to get that trap. If you don't get that trap, it's not a big deal. You just fight a gelatinous cube. All right, so I'm gonna get my Ooze of the Mire and Jump Potion, and I think I'm gonna go right to this next one here. It's a little hard to see for me, and then to this here. All right, this part's a little tricky, but with evasion, not too much of a problem on this build. You just run back to the ladder, which you can see pretty easy with the flashlight. All right, we should get. And then another null area.
The oddly familiar pedestal in the center of the room is covered by a magical barrier. It is surrounded by a set of curious-looking tiles.
Oops, sorry. You click on this to put the light there. I didn't realize I had it on mute. Um, so basically, you light these, you'd run over them all once, right? And then that makes them all red. Then you start with the second one, run over all the remaining, that makes them orange. Then you run on this and all the other ones, which makes them all yellow, and so forth. So basically, they can go sequential. The other way you could do it is start at the beginning, go do once, and this one twice, and this one 3 times, right? And that's the other way you could do it. But basically, you just want to get them in order, and the order is on the DDO wiki if you don't get it. But basically, it's just the sequence, right? You do this is the first color, second color, third color, fourth color, fifth color, sixth color, seventh color. All right, so now we have a pretty easy end fight. Get fire resist to your higher. because it's a fire elemental. And all my DPS buffs ran out, so I'm just going to renew those. And there we go. Okay, so in terms of loot, a few things to mention. You'll need one of these from each quest. So if your inventory is full or whatever, you just have to make sure you get these, and probably these, right? These are used for crafting blanks, and these are used for also crafting blanks, but this is mandatory to complete the raid flagging. So you want to make sure you loot these. All right, and so the main reason I'm running this chain is because my inventory bag is getting pretty full, and it's going to overflow from this quest. Currently at 30 of 30, so I think, yeah, I'm full without these two items. Let me check and see if yeah, I'm full without these two items, so that's why I'm running these quests a little out of order. I haven't finished the 15s yet, but I want to get these run so I can get my large ingredient bag, which is the reward for second tier 12 favor. And running these on hard in addition to normal and hard, and in addition to the other 12 quests we've run, will be enough to give us that bag. All right, so I'm going to pause it while I go do repairs for the rust monster and get my reward from the quest giver. Nothing too interesting here. I'm going to just grab an item. Oh, tentacle ring, that's new. Search in UMD in False Life. So that's actually a pretty good item. I'm going to grab this. Don't know if it'll fit in my gear set at some point, but I'm going to head back to the quest on hard now. Going back in on hard.
A glowing scepter illuminates the dark cave. It is seated loosely in the pedestal. The oppressive darkness overwhelms the cavernous tunnel. It is wise to stay close to the wielder of the scepter. Someone or something deliberately burrowed through the earth, creating these tunnels.
All right, I'm going to switch my armor to my sort of spare armor that I brought with just for this quest. It could destroy other gear besides my armor, but that's the thing that it's most likely to destroy. The rust monsters, that is. All right, so far no rust monsters. That's kind of a good sign. A lot of times if there's none, if they're either there or they're not. So I'm thinking we'll probably not have any rust monsters this time, which would be great. I mean, if you run into bad luck and you end up getting massive damage here from the rust monsters, it's the beginning of the quest that's almost worth restarting, you know? I mean, if you lose like an item or two. But I think if you use a bow and back up, you should be okay. You could also order the hireling to attack, and then the hireling will get their aggro instead of you. Yeah, so I'm going to pretty much say there's probably no rust monsters if there's none by now. Going to keep my hireling parked there just in case I get a disintegrate. And I'm going to go ahead and use my bow, even though it's not great DPS. By the time I run over there, you know, it's almost going to be dead with my bow. Or would. All right. So again, you want to go slowly here. And so this is we didn't see it at all on normal, but this is basically what you get is a path that if you run forward, you're probably going to fall down. All right, so bring my hireling over and then top off my hireling. And I'm going to check here. So there's the trap. So, you know, you don't want either yourself or your hireling to step on that. So I'm going to have my hireling stand his ground, or her ground. And I'll go this way. Again, I always go this way just to kind of clear it. Because on the way back, we're going to get these scorpions in addition, so... Alright, I'm going to ignore that for now.
In the dark.
So on the way back, all those stone scorpions are going to activate, so by just clearing it now, I have a little less to deal with on the way back. Alright, and avoid this. Alright, so it's okay if you go, like I'm going to go around here and just try to fight, not on the trap thing. Alright, get my light on. Just walk around it, and then call my hireling over. Yeah, the biggest thing hirelings are probably the biggest thing that would cause you to get in that trap when you're soloing. So you want to make sure they stand their ground. All right, this looks like another pit area. So just kind of go over it slowly and Make sure you know the way, or you could see the way properly. All right. Once I get Epic Destinies, I'm going to get a Barovian or a Keep on the Borderlands bow as well, which should be better DPS. But for right now, this is good enough. All right, so now we go back and we have two pits and a trap that I remember, and so we'll have to watch for those. Plus, there will be respawns. when advancing forward without the flashlight, you really want to be careful just to make sure you're not heading into a pit. There's the trap. Get my hurling on. Oops, stand his ground. Get out of the trap area. ASAP. That was pretty close. My hurling almost went in there. So I want to be careful, make sure there's not another elemental trap up here. A little unfair, I'm hitting the gelatinous cube and it's stuck. You can't get past because there's an overhang and it's too low. Can't get past. So no trap this time. It's random where those traps are, but you know most of them are the floor puzzles or the floor traps. You know, you can see the the pressure plate thing. But there's the rust monsters, and not good. Let's see. I'm gonna do all my buffs here. Try to get this thing. Alright, so those first couple are the toughest. Don't think anything got worn out, so I'm going to try to, yeah, I'm gonna try to, let's just check my gear. Nope, nothing got worn out there, surprisingly. I'm going to go ahead and clear this area. Usually if there's rust, there's going to be a bunch of rust monsters, so just like the other area was last time. And once they're closer, I'm pretty much stuck doing the big cleaves. Whoop. Boots of the Mire Worn. Of course, that's a low-level item, so... Actually, I'm kind of glad... Well, I guess I don't want to break them. I'm going to switch to my freedom of movement, because I do want them for the jumping part. Alright. I wish I had my other bow, or my, oh, I better get this thing on.
Another carefully carved tunnel leads to a separate underground.
Alright, so we're past the rust monsters. Let's see how bad the damage is on my items. Only the boots of the Mire got worn, so they're really a swap item anyway, so that's fine.
pressured knolls have settled.
All right, another one of these floors that are pits to be careful for. Grab the key and then skip the. I'm going to skip the other part, which has more rust monsters. And because I had to rebuff, I probably ought to go back and use that shrine, or I'm only have 100 spell points. But because this is only hard difficulty, I'm just going to go forward with it. All right, and so I want to go on this little pillar here first. And as I've sort of mentioned before, I'm not really jumping is not my strong suit in this game. I kind of managed to get by despite that. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna wear my boots of the mire and my jumping. If not, you just have to make more jumps, and I would rather just make one jump. And I almost find these like longer jumps easier than the short jumps. So I'm gonna make this jump here. Whoop, there we go. And then this one here. So you could also just do the shorter jumps, but just means more of a chance for making a mistake, which in my case, since I'm not really good at the jumping, is a bad thing. Having more chances. Traps. So we've, on normal we didn't see very many traps and no collapsible floors, and on hard I think we've seen all of them.
The oddly familiar
Okay,
pedestal in the
so
center of the room is
interesting.
covered by a magical
And I missed these guys.
curious-looking tiles.
All right, so this is kind of more typical where it's like partially, kind of partially completed. So I'm gonna get them all to red. Oops, I didn't mean to get that one to orange, but it's okay. So now this one was not supposed to go to red, but I had a little mistake. So get it to the off and then now to red. All right, that one's orange. So this one, I'm gonna make all orange. Again, eh? All right. So then, oh, I'm getting a little lag. I'm not sure if you see that. Weird thing. Getting a little stuttering here. It's okay. The server's been acting a little funny lately. I think I got these the wrong color. No, I guess it's okay. Let me check. This one definitely looks like the wrong color. Unfortunately, I'm getting a little bit of lag here. I'm not sure if you can see the flickering, but I can't quite aim. So I'm gonna have to do this. All right, so red, orange, yellow. And I can't tell if that's yellow or green. All right, that looks more green. So let's get them all yellow, green. Let's go do them one at a time since I'm getting a little lag here. I don't want to risk it. And again, if I mentioned this before, but lag is not something that's, I mean, you might get in very rare occasion a lag spike here and there, just like any game, but I don't consider lag to be a normal part of this game. It's just there's a data center issue. So the last few days it's been heavier, but I wouldn't worry about that being an ongoing thing. All right, so the puzzle's completed. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to give both my higher and myself fire resist. There we go. All right, so I got two more ingredients. So these are both ingredients for making blanks, and then this one is needed to be able to get flagged for the raid. These stones. So you get one of each of these stones. You turn that into a sort of like a you combine them, and then that's your flagging for the raid effectively. All right, I'm gonna pause it while I go to the end reward. All right, nothing too interesting that I would use. So I'm going to grab these. Don't take the mystical plants. They're not currently used for anything in the game. Uh, if they are, you can always go back and run these to get them. But right now, they'll just be taking up space in your ingredient bag. So that is Rainbow in the Dark on normal and hard.